Welcome back, everybody. This is Peter at Plumbing Express. Coming to you to talk to you a little bit today about a simple guide to make sure you get the right size water heater, tank style, in your house. So whether you've got something that's as fancy as one of the new hybrids that we have here, this 50-gallon hybrid from Rheem, or you're talking about a little 30-gallon water heater that fits underneath your kitchen sink area, no matter what, you want to make certain you get the right size so that you are not getting either too small, but also not way too big for what it is that you have at your home. So let's take a look at some of the different factors that come in. Now, one right off the bat is going to be spacing. So as an example, if you do have a small 30-gallon lowboy and it's tucked underneath your kitchen sink or your kitchen cabinets area, you're going to have to work with that. We also have a lot of times down here in Florida, we have a lot of people that have houses or condos really, where the 30-gallon water heater or 40-gallon lowboy is tucked right underneath your air handler. Now, if that's what you have, until there's going to be something done with that air conditioner or a closet next to it or something like that, which we strongly encourage during remodels, you're going to get stuck with whatever it is that you have there. So sizing around the water heater itself definitely comes into play. But the manufacturers have been smart about that. They're trying to come up with products that will fit in a wide range of areas to give you the most that you can get for your given space when you need it. So, normally in a situation, you're going to look at, you're going to say, okay, well, if I've got a one bathroom house, I'm normally going to have maybe a 30 or 40 gallon heater. Just depends on the spacing you have. Two bathroom house, you're going to probably look at a 40 to a 50 gallon water heater. 3+ bathrooms, you're looking at 50 gallons and up from there. Now, there has been restrictions placed on that by energy codes and stuff, so you will not be able to easily get anything above a 55-gallon water heater. Now, we do strongly recommend looking at that, and we definitely have folks that have gotten 80-gallon water heaters in their house. They no longer produce 80-gallon water heaters that you can put in a residential unless it is a heat pump model, which is not something that everybody can put in there depending on noise and stuff like that, and makeup air that is required for that to be able to circulate around it. So as a result, what you can get into is maybe you need to go to a 55-gallon. And if that's the case, you can actually go to a 55-gallon. Rheem makes a great product called a tank booster, and that actually will mount on the outlet side, and it's basically like a small tankless water heater that will help supercharge that 55-gallon and give you what seems almost closer to like a 65-gallon gallon water heater's worth of water available for you. So not quite that much, but again, some of that also depends on your incoming water temperature. So there are just so many different factors around the country and around the world that goes into what is the right size for you. Obviously overseas, there are definitely areas where they don't even have tank water heaters. They're all electric tankless. They're even sometimes point of use where they're just mounted directly to like a shower or even a kitchen sink faucet. But we just don't contend with those much here in America. So as a result, what we're looking more at, like I said, a lot of times are these tanks. There is doing a lot of conversions over to tankless, and we'll be covering that in another video for you so we can help you inform you on that. But besides the number of bathrooms, the biggest factor, and of course size of the space that it can go into, one of the biggest factors for you really is the number of people that you have in the house. So I've had definitely situations where people have felt like, okay, well, size-wise in my house, I really only need a 40-gallon water heater. Yes, but if you have multiple people, especially young, if we're talking about teenage years and stuff like that, women that have long hair, it's going to take a lot more water to wash out the soap from their hair and stuff like that. You definitely want to try to look at upsizing that. So that might mean that even though what we talked about was you just have a 2-bathroom house, maybe you think, okay, well, I'm going to just slide by, I'm going to get a 50. You may want to look at going up to the 55 if you do have a lot more water usage in the house. You may want to actually step all the way to a 55-gallon with the tank booster. So those are just different options that you have available for you. So just do not discount that number of people and the type of people. We definitely see folks that are transitioning from their kids being young, elementary, even middle school age as they get older and they start doing more sports, other things that takes more water, they're showering more and stuff like that. You just want to make certain you're covering your bases. Mom and dad usually are the people that take the shower the last, and what you don't want is mom and dad to get the cold shower. Now, I will also say we do occasionally see folks that will oversize the system, and you don't want to do that as well. You don't want your water heater just to sit there and heat up and cool down, and only draw off very small amounts of water. Now, the one wild card of that, especially down here in Florida, is we have a lot of big homes that have just a few people living in them regularly throughout the course of the year, and then occasionally they have more people that are coming to stay with them. You still want to find a balance in there. You don't want to go overboard. Really, if you have a house like that, our biggest recommendation normally is to go with a tankless water heater. Preferably if you can go with gas, but you can also work electric in there if you have the power available to the house. But the tankless system is nice because it does give you some flexibility. It's going to fire up and run every time, but it's going to be able to ramp up if you size it correctly to the right amount of gallons per minute for you whenever you have everyone over at the house. Now, there is 2 wild cards to this, and they're definitely big ones, especially down here in Florida. But they are solar water heaters and hybrid water heaters. Now, this again is a Rheem Proterra hybrid water heater. How it works is it functions by pulling in the air around it and then exhausting it out. What it does is it pulls the heat out of the air. Even when it's cool out, it still manages to pull heat out of the air, and then it imparts that heat into the system. It's super efficient. You're looking at somewhere around like a 400% efficiency in a sense. And I know that sounds really, really amazing, but it just comes down to the technology behind this as far as how it can do that. So it's a very similar in a sense actually to a solar water heater in terms of how it heats. Now, to the point of that, the reason why you normally you would start on a solar heater at no less than 80, you might even have a 120 gallon tank. On the hybrids, our recommendation is always to go up one size more than what you would be under a standard water heater, tank water heater. So they do make a 40 gallon this. We don't put really any of them in. We start at 50s and then we go up from there. You can get a 50, you can get an 80. Those 2 are the primary ones that we look at doing. The reason being is for you to get the most efficiency out of this, the most efficiency out of a solar system as well, is you want to have a tank that's able to charge up more slowly over a longer period of time and then stores that heat to be able to give it back to you at a later time. Obviously, with a solar system, you want to be able to take the heat all day that the sun is giving you and be able to heat your water with it. And then you want to have enough water to last all night. And then if you take showers in the morning, to be able to finish up in the morning. With a hybrid water heater, because you don't have to wait for the sun, it can regenerate. So if it builds up heat to fill the tank throughout the course of the day, you use almost all that up at night before you go to bed, and somebody wants to take a shower in the morning, instead of it just having to run off the elements, which are not as efficient, at night you will actually run the hybrid mode on this if you have it set up that way, and it will be able to replenish the heat that it's lost and still give you that great benefit of doing it all at a super so low price. So I hope that's been beneficial to you. Those are kind of the big main things that we want to look at on that. We want to look at size, so the actual location of where you are going to place the water heater. That is number one. You can't put something in unless you're doing a remodel and you're going to move it to a closet and allows you to put a bigger one in. So you're going to look at the actual location space. That's going to be a big factor. You're going to look at your number of bathrooms because that usually will help dictate it. Then look at the number of people overall. Even if you just do have only 2 bathrooms, but you manage to get 4 or 5 bedrooms in there, or you've got multiple people in, even 2 or 3 bedrooms, you want to be able to make it so that you can accommodate all the uses of those people. Especially if it's in the garage, it definitely gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to put in a bigger unit than maybe what was originally designed for your house or set up for your house. You don't want to oversize, so don't go crazy and have somebody come in and put you in an 80-gallon commercial unit or something like that in your house if it's only 2 people. It just doesn't usually work out correct that way. And then, of course, you have a solar or hybrid system. Those are your main things you want to look at oversizing a little bit with, just because you want to take advantage of the slow heating process for very, very much pennies on the dollar that you would if it was going to be a regular tank water heater. Now, there's a lot of other factors in there. Please, if you have any questions, reach out to your local plumber that you use. If you're in the Sarasota, Bradenton area, we're happy to talk with you about that as well. There are many other factors that can come into play on that, especially when we're talking about houses that have body sprays, rain heads. We've had some houses that, they may only have 2 bathrooms, but heck, they might require 2 80-gallon water heaters because they just are car wash bathrooms. They just have tons of water that's getting used. Obviously, commercial settings are very different as well. You can range from someplace where you're hardly using any hot water at all to a spa where you're doing, or a gym where you're doing lots and lots of changeovers from showers and stuff like that use a lot of hot water. So this is just a quick and simple guide, especially for residential use on tank water heaters. I hope it's been beneficial to you guys. If you found it beneficial, please don't forget, hit that subscribe button. We would, and the like button. We'd love to be able to hear from you. Please comment. Let us know if you found value in it. Let us know if you have any other questions. We love to look in those comments, reply to each and every one of them. And then we also love to get questions from that to be able to help us think about new topics that you guys would love to hear about. Have a great day, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one. Again, this is Peter, Plumbing Express.